gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and subbing to me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you to the Let's Play episode of NeveN. So y'all, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel and get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain you were up, and let's go. Alright. If he wants to play hard to get, I can return the favor. I'm not an easy rabbit, I certainly don't need teenage flirting techniques. No, sir. When I want to seduce someone, know that I deploy methods that are close to art. I am a maestro of courtship, and of course, and of what comes after as well. Besides, not that I'm particularly repulsed by him, he's pleasant to the eye, certainly, and he has a particularly bad temper, and I have a promise to keep. You'd have to know how to hunt for real before you can think about hunting me. This whole metaphor is getting a little tangled, but if it makes you feel any better, it wasn't a pickup attempt. Sure. I can feel all of Vakad's perplexity in his voice, so much so that I don't even need to see his face to understand that he doesn't believe me. I sigh heavily and shake my head. What's the point of trying to convince him otherwise anyway? This guy is as stubborn as a mule. Believe what you want, if it flatters your ego. You talk too much. I'm hungry. No time to think about anything else. What the fuck? Why does that bother me? It's not like I fell on him on purpose. It's all the more annoying because Vakad doesn't seem at all embarrassed or even amused by the situation. He just goes about his day as if nothing happened, and I feel like a kid pouting in the corner. Again, only the sounds of nature break this silent, monotonous stroll. I can only sigh with relief as I see them. The machicolations? That's a word I've never heard before. The machicolations of the Capitol's towers in the distance. I really hope I'll have time to catch a breath today. Once we get back to the castle, Vakad nods at me while dropping his messy bags. It wasn't bad for a first time. You still have to learn, and you will. Besides, the discussion wasn't unpleasant either. I'm stunned for a moment, then I smile frankly at him. He compliments half-heartedly, but he compliments nonetheless. I'm not the only one who still has a lot to learn, but I can see efforts are made. Thank you for the trip, Mr. Grumpy Horns. Ha, finally, he raises his eyes to the sky. It's been a while since he did that. Instead of talking nonsense, take that. The hunter rummages through his belongings and pulls out a string which he stuffs into a small purse before handing it to me. I'll teach you how to make strings yourself, but for now, just take it. I don't know whether to look forward to spending more time with him or to regret in advance the fact that I will have to handle the guts of an animal. Either way, he deserves my thanks. Sure, I'm looking forward to it, and thanks for this. I tell a cat that it's thanks to you that he'll have a loot like new. I'm just doing my job. Go away now, I need rest. Have a nice day. And with that friendly exchange, I hop happily back to my room. In the end, getting to know new people might be more pleasant than expected. I notice a few looks that are strange, to say the least, as I walk through the castle. Strange and not very positive. Do I have something on me or what? I look down and, oh, fuck. It seems that working with Vakad has had quite the effect on my clothes. Great. That's the second time I've come back to the castle with blood on my clothes. I'm quickly going to have a bad reputation at this rate. I need to change and wash myself properly, not just with a few leaves this time. Which reminds me, when I was exploring the place yesterday, I saw that there were hot baths in the basement. I guess I could kill two birds with one stone and clean myself and relax. Hopefully, I'll have some good company and some eye candy to look at. Despite my promise to Rhaegor, there is nothing to stop me from indulging my desires by looking at nice-looking males. Invigorated by this idea, I'll walk with a much quicker step up to my room to get something to wear and drop off the stained clothes. Once on the stairs, however, a sudden sound stops me. I can hear the ringing of a small bell echoing in the courtyard, rung as vigorously as possible. Odd. I don't think I've heard that before. However, I was out on the streets yesterday at this time, so I guess this explains it. Maybe it is a way to wake up those who are still asleep, or maybe a way to signal that the meal is ready. I'll just have to ask someone later. Right now, washing myself is a more pressing matter. The basements are heated, and I think it has something to do with what heats the rest of the city. What could it be? Another question I have to think about asking at some point. But the baths themselves are pretty well organized. They're separated into two sections, one filled with small basins for washing up, while the others occupied by larger pools meant for bathing. What is truly strange is the soot and burnt stone on the wall in front of the door leading to the pools. It's an odd place for a fire-related incident, I must admit. Second, y'all. Water time. Oh, really? Bubbly water and ginger ale. Good mix. I'm guessing there's a story connected to this. It's probably even related to Tenoch, now that I think about it. Given the size of his brand, he must be able to set an entire wall on fire if he wants to. That said, before I can enjoy a bath, I'm going to have to wash up a bit. I undress as quickly as I can, before wrapping one of the towels hanging against the wall around my hips. Let's keep it decent, at least for now. Lined up against one of the walls, there are about 10 small buckets filled with water, and a few soaps are also available to all. I grab one of the buckets and start wetting my face when I hear a thud from behind the door that leads to the baths. Ah, fuck! The door swings open with a bang and a jet of flames crashes against the already ash-black wall. I feel like my hair is scorching from the heat. Within seconds I would have been caught in that inferno, and all that would have been left of me is a roasted rabbit. It's getting to be a few times that I've narrowly escaped that kind of situation in 3 days. I wonder if Frostfang will end up killing me soon. So much for the grandchildren you want me to have, Rhaegor. A few seconds later, I hear a loud splashing sound, followed by a high-pitched whistle and a jet of steam escapes through the door. What in Argon's name is going on in here? I approach the door as cautiously as I can. I have no desire to get fried, but I'd really like to know what happened. Is anybody there? What? Ellois? What are you doing here? Tenoch? A little reassured by the presence of the lizard. What? Ellois, what are you doing here? Tenoch? A little reassured by the presence of the lizard, I step into the room to try to see something. Oh. That's not exactly an easy task. A thick layer of steam diminishes my field of vision, and I can barely see a meter in front of me. Given the location and the fact that I'm wearing a towel, I think it's pretty obvious what I'm doing here. Didn't you hear the bell? What kind of question is that? Yes, I did, but I'm having a real hard time seeing what that has to do with you almost burning my ass just now. As I reach the center of the room, I can finally see the bath itself, and standing in the center of it is Tenoch, completely naked. And of course, the damn steam is blocking my view. I'm beginning to think that the gods really hate me. Didn't anyone tell you? About what? That the baths catch fire from time to time? All I hear is a sigh, and what little I can see of Tenoch seems to take an apologetic look. Shit, I guess I could have told you myself. People must have thought I did since you entered the castle with me. Tenoch, I'm seriously going to need some more explanations. Sorry, it's just that when the bell rings in the courtyard, it's to signal that I'm coming down here to train with my brand. As you've seen, it can be dangerous for others to be in the same place as me, and the water basin allows for any excess flame issues to be addressed if needed. Indeed, that would have been useful information to have a little earlier. Now, I could have asked what the bell in question meant when it rang, but hey, if I can get a little favor from the lizard by exaggerating a little, I'm not going to pass up the opportunity. No one is hurt, but I guess that's good enough. Now, I have to admit that my fur is a bit singed. Are you going to make up for that? Tenoch gives me a surprised look before grinning as he slowly moves in my direction. Ooh, I do have some ideas on how best to make it up to you. And I don't doubt for a second that you'll like it. Now we're talking. Really? And what do you have in mind, Mr. Ambassador? He walks to the edge of the pool before holding out his paw to me, obviously expecting me to grab it. I've warmed up all this water. It would be a shame not to enjoy it. I prefer my baths cold, but if it's to enjoy such a pleasant company, I'm willing to make the sacrifice. No need to spend a lot of time thinking about what I should do here. Without the slightest hesitation, I grab his paw and drop my towel. Second, y'all, let me readjust this on the bottom so I can have a little more room for my feet. There we go. Alrighty. Oh, and it looks like it is water time. Water time is a good time. Okay. Alright. No need to spend a lot of time thinking about... Okay, I already did that. Okay. I don't know if the steam is blocking his view as much as it does mine, but even if it isn't, I've never been against making a show of myself. I feel him briefly devour me with his eyes, before guiding me into the bath, allowing me to join him in the water. The latter is hot, almost to the point of being unbearable, but I'm willing to boil a little. In the immediate future, I have slightly more, interesting concerns. I slip into the water, submerging myself and sitting on the stone bottom, which is with just my head sticking out. Tenoch does the same in front of me, so that we can look at each other. I really hope that you will enjoy that excuse. It's a good start, but I expect more. Ooh, Mr. Fluffybutt is demanding. I see, but I don't doubt for a second my ability to find a way to satisfy your needs. I don't need to see his face through the steam to understand exactly what he implies. By the gods, I've managed to find someone even less subtle than me. Unfortunately for Tenoch, I'm a master at this little game, and I'm absolutely in the mood to give him a little lesson. I let myself slide as much as possible to the bottom of the pool while stretching my legs in front of me, accidentally rubbing them against Tenoch's. Well, if you really want to make up for it a little more, I have my own idea of an excuse. Come on, chair. Work with me. There we go. There we go. Okay. My idea of an excuse. I feel his leg quiver under my touch while the grin I see through the steam seems to widen even more. Oh, really? And what is this wonderful little idea, I run my paw up his leg, gently caressing his thigh, before straightening up as if nothing happened. Well, I must confess to being very curious about what happened here before I arrived. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? There's a brief moment of silence, and for a second I wonder if I've pushed the envelope a little too far. Tenoch is clearly not into protocol and all that, but he's still a noble after all. Fortunately for me, the ambassador bursts out laughing a few seconds later. You little tempter. I guess I deserve that, though. I appreciate the advances, and I know we bards have a reputation, but you didn't think it would be that simple, did you? You already told me you didn't want an easy win, after all. One can dream, but I don't mind. Your resistance only makes the reward more exciting. And who says there will be a reward? I know there will be. Sir, you are full of confidence from what I can see. Not that I don't like it, quite the opposite. Whew, let's calm down, Ellois. I know that water and steam had a lot of things, but let's not take unnecessary risks. So, what kind of questions do you want to ask me, Oh yeah, right, I did say that. It probably would have been better if I had questions to ask. Think before you speak next time, Ellois. Come up with something and fast. Oh, yes, it's just that considering the size of your brand, I didn't really expect you to need practice. You should be able to do pretty much whatever you want with fire, right? It's a little more complicated than that. I guess not having a brand makes you miss some information. Wait a minute. How does he know I don't have a brand? I don't exactly make it a secret, but I don't think I've ever told him. I don't remember telling you that. You're not spying on me, are you? I enjoy attention, but I have my limits. Oh no, rest assured, you're cute, but not that cute. It's just that this morning there's a weasel who spent a lot of time bitching about you. I was able to glean some information by listening very carefully. Sven, of course he did that. I'll have to calm him down sooner or later, if possible by humiliating him in a bit in the process. That would be deserved. 1 second, y'all. It is water time. You should ignore what he says. He holds a personal grudge against me. I thought so, yes. I don't know what you did to him, but he's clearly angry with you. Tenoch chuckles while I roll my eyes at the ceiling. That damn weasel really decided to ruin my life. But to answer your question, that's not exactly how brands work. Actually, the fact that it's so big requires more training on my part. What it offers me primarily is raw power. I'm able to create the greatest flames ever seen in Anthracan memory. But that also means that if I lose control of it, I am capable of causing enormous destruction. I would like to point out, however, that so far I've only caused one incident, and we expanded my brother's room when we fixed it, so I really don't see why he's still complaining about it. You set your brother's room on fire? I accidentally set fire to my brother's room, yes. On the other hand, it's all his fault. I had just received my brand, and he spent 10 minutes yelling at me under the pretext that I stole his place as heir of the family. Hold on, slow down a bit. Slow down a bit, will ya? You've taken your brother's place in your family succession? Oh, of course. I have the brand of Argon, after all. I expect more explanation, but obviously the lizard is done. What could his god possibly have to do with this whole situation? Tenoch? Yes? Can you elaborate? I keep forgetting that your kingdom functions differently. I'm sorry, it's a bit long to explain, though. I might as well start at the beginning. Do you know what the difference is between an Anthracan of your kind and a lizard? The scales? I guess I should have seen that coming. I have a hard time not making jokes when they're so obviously offered. It's not the only type of hard time you're going through right now, is it? Again, I roll my eyes. Does he ever stop? Keep your own hardness where it belongs, Ambassador, and go on with your explanation. I'll try to make an effort. More seriously, the difference between us is our origin. Although we are both Anthracans, our ancestors differ. What do you mean? Your ancestors were simple animals, beasts without advanced intellect, on which the gods put their brands, making them conscious. Our ancestors are, however, quite different. They aren't mere animals. They were once the masters of fire and sky. We lizards are the children of dragons. His voice rings with pride and a touch of arrogance, because, of course, Mr. Ambassador must have better ancestors than everyone else. I thought dragons were just a legend. Just because something disappeared, it doesn't mean it never existed. You see, dragons are the first creations of the gods, the oldest creatures Teslin has ever known. And unlike animals, They were already intelligent and even capable of using magic without a brand. Alas, they were also proud and arrogant. How surprising. Tenoch's ancestors proud and arrogant? I would never have guessed. It's basically impossible to attribute those personality traits to him. Not. So much so that one day they tried to defy the very gods. That sounds like a perfectly reasonable idea. I take it that everything did not go as planned. What an incredibly deductive mind. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!